That's incredible. That's amazing. God, thank you again.
Oh, come on, it's like, you just sit back when you get something.
Yeah, I would. I don't know what I would do. Honestly, I would just sit down and I would just be like, oh my God, can I just have some tea with you? Because seriously, guy, like we have some stuff to talk about. That's what I would. You know, I would just want to buy him a drink. Like, be like, can I get you a tequila shot? Johann Sebastian, will you allow me the honor of doing a shot with you? I think he'd say yes. I would like to think that he would be.
Quite ready. So,
Yeah.
you want it?
Oh my God,
awesome.
sit with me.
I would like to tell myself I don't like it, but otherwise I will see it.
I think they're great, actually. I like, well, we all have things about ourselves that we know, and the rest of the world is like, that's beautiful. And you're like, right, that's how it goes. So would you like this?
Oh, I have another one.
Of course you do. Okay, good. All right.
So, there you go. So, cooking paper.
Paper's paper. It's good.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah,
we could randomize it, or you could select the most you like, or...
You choose. You're the journalist. You just get to throw something at me, and then we talk about it.
Okay,
It's all you.
okay, that's kind of hard. Well, it could be the first one. If we understand charm as craziness and disenchantment like the perception of an overwhelming reality, which one do you prefer? And how is this struggle between fantasy and reality within your creative process?
Really? I think that the way that I look at reality is that it's subjective, it's not, there's one reality, and then the rest of us that don't agree with that are crazy. Everybody has their own. You have your own. It's different from mine, it's different from everybody's. But I think that's a very healthy thing to be able to realize, and that's why what I do in the whole asylum world, and the way I live and all of that, I don't actually think is that strange. I think it's just that I'm on stage, so it's louder and people can notice it, but I think we all do that. We all have our own asylums, our own versions of reality. So I think that that's the main thing, is just to realize that all of these different versions, we socially choose one to kind of agree on, but it doesn't mean that's the one. It just means that in order to fit into a society, we kind of agree, this is reality. We agree this is what's going to go on. But in reality, I actually think that we all have our own. So that's why I think being able to say we create our own realities and then putting the fantasy elements into it is, I think there's a bit of the escapism in that you get to explore other parts of your psyche, yourself, like the putting on a mask thing. And Oscar Wilde, my favorite person, my gay boyfriend, my favorite person on the planet, and he said, give a man a mask and he'll tell you the truth. So that's why with the rap masks, with the costumes, with everything, not only for us, but for the people who to come to the show dressed up, I do realize that it's about, in our daily lives, we are open, we don't have makeup, we don't do whatever, we don't have masks on. And we're not, I think a lot of the time, completely ourselves, but let somebody play dress up and they can actually show their real self through that. So when I'm on stage doing my thing, or just living my asylum life, or telling the story, I can tell elements of myself and other things that I think about the world through the story that I would never be able to say if I were just saying, hello, I'm Emilie Autumn. I would like to tell you how I feel about this thing in the world. Yeah. Because people don't listen to that, but they can listen more to something that's entertaining, that gives, this is a whole different reality. And when they go home, that they can take bits of it, incorporate it into their reality. So that's how I think the fantasy and reality combine, and both are incredibly useful, because I think the fantasy actually helps you to tell the truth about things.
Oh. I actually, not just, but there's quite something, oh, yeah, there's a recording, oh. There's something that I noticed, yeah. Yeah. Actually, the new scene is like more theatrical. Yeah, a lot more theatrical. You don't like it. It's like watching Shakespeare.
That's my plan.
Oh.
That's, the reason for all of this, everything that I'm doing, why I'm here today, why everything is happening, every show is leading us more and more towards a full theater show, an experience where it is a Broadway musical. That's what I'm making. So everything we're doing is the practice towards when we do the big Broadway debut of the assignment musical, which is the entire book. And that's what's happening. So that's what I promised by the end of 2014. The musical is out, and it's everything. It's everything that people have been wondering or waiting for. It's like the culmination of everything I've ever done. Because everything I'm doing is for that. So this is where I get to take the audience on this journey with me, because they're helping to make, it's like if you believe in something, it's real. It's like fairies or Tinkerbell or whatever. Every playwright that believes in this is making this a reality, to where like the asylum is not this idea in my head, it's real, and they're making it real. So they're helping, you're helping, everybody's helping to make this happen, make the musical happen, make everything, and we all get to kind of own a piece of that and say like, we were here from the beginning, and that's why like it's also, it's made with everybody's help, it's made with everybody's belief in this and support and understanding, but it's also like, I want to make it for them, for you, for us, to like, this is ours, and this is the whole world, and it's a 3-hour show with an intermission, and it's, it is going to be massive. Yeah.
I noticed that some of your songs, like, questions that I
Doesn't
hear
matter.
shuffle because I want these questions.
Doesn't matter.
There are similarities or connections.
Yeah.
I see there's like, Mr. Williams' company has a connection with Fennec River, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for getting that.
Yeah,
it was meant to be, like, going back to, like, remember this part, when it's, you're so easy to read.
Yeah, but then you change it. It's
Exactly.
like you're so easy to kill.
Exactly.
And like
That was meant to be. Thank you for finding that. I never really knew, like, how many people are really getting that. Maybe everybody's getting it, but I don't know. But yeah, thanks for getting that, because I hoped somebody would get that. Yeah.
But there are also other songs I can remember right now. It's so
it's in there a lot, because everything is made to, like, everything. That's why when people say it's like, Flag is so different, or is there any connection? It's like, no, if you really listen to it, there's so many elements of songs in Emilie that are in Flag songs that come back for, 4 o'clock is in Goodbye Sweet Ladies in Flag. I mean, it's all Art Suicide is on there. There's 4 o'clock Reprise. 4 o'clock isn't on the album. Reprise what? Well, you have to know all the other stuff that they're on, because that's what I'm saying about why this is all becoming the musical. The musical isn't Flag. The musical isn't together. It's everything we're doing is an element in this. Like, we go back to a feeling and the other suicide. All of these things are in the book, are in all of this. So thank you for recognizing that this is all, like, nothing is by accident, nothing is random. Every single tiny sound, every word, every note is meant to go like this with every other thing. Because I'm trying to build this house, this structure.
And you made it, because I'm like, oh, this one I heard before, and then I tried to match the words.
That I try to give to anybody who is kind enough to listen to me is like, that's how you know, like, shit, very fucking special, because I know what she's talking about, because I've heard that before, and it's that beautiful feeling when you're like, oh, I get that joke, you're on the inside, and that was meant to make people feel like they get the joke, they're on the inside, and it's nice to know that some people get the joke. It's really good, it feels good.
Well, once we're at this, inside your artistic outcome, do you look forward to involve the audience in this play between charm and disenchantment?
Do you mean my effect upon them, or that they get involved in the process, or how do you?
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Oh yeah.
Explain to me.
Oh, I heard a word from the asylum,
Yeah.
and there's like all this process that it's inviting me to madness, and so much symbols. The crowd is just like a symbol of dreams that appears in dreams, and a lot of playing with shadows.
Yeah.
And masks. And
Right. Okay.
this introductory, the asylum, words from the asylum, it's like you're inviting them to madness, but it's not madness.
That's okay. Yeah, that's where
enchantment.
it's like the Pied Piper thing, where it's like you put out a call, and okay, I'm gonna say something stupid, but just listen. Imagine, okay, Batman, right? Let's talk about Batman.
Okay.
Batman. Cool. We all know who that is.
Okay.
Batman. You're awesome. So somebody wants to call Batman, you put up the light symbol, right? It's the symbol in the sky. Okay, that's how I think of all of this. That's kind of the Pied Piper thing. That's how I met the Bloody Crumpets. That's all of it, is you put out that in your mind, like from the depths of your soul, like asking what do you really need. And the people that are supposed to see that Batman symbol in the sky, or in my case the rat, do. And that's how we find each other. Like, that's how I meet you, that's how I meet the audience, that's how I meet the girls, that's how I meet Melissa. And so that's how I do feel like that's the enchantment, is you put out like a light beam, like a laser, and the people that are supposed to come together find each other through that. So I see it kind of like the Pied Piper thing, where you're using like his enchanted flute. Like, clearly that's a metaphor. It's not about an enchanted flute. It's about a call. It's about something like the Batman symbol. Shouldn't have even started that, but like that, I mean, his Batman symbol is attracting all those little rats that then follow him to a supposed death, but there's nothing. All we know is that they went into the water. That doesn't mean anybody dies. And so that's like, because the whole thing is obviously based on symbolism. It's all metaphor for something.
And we can take like water, like the rebirth, right?
Exactly. That's why. I mean, I think Shakespeare knew exactly what he was doing when Ophelia drowned. It was, and also makes sense why historically, you know, we love Hamlet, we know the story, all that. But who's the one that people really are fascinated by? Hamlet's more of a joke, like, hey, this depressed bipolar guy. Ophelia is the one that people have been painting pictures of for hundreds of years, not Hamlet. So she's the one that she died and she lives forever. And so, I think the water was why. I mean, other people were poisoned, other people were stabbed, and they're just dead. But she's still here, to where if I talk about her and sing about her as like a metaphor, people do know what I'm talking about. So I think that is completely similar with the rats, with the drowning, with the, it's completely meant to be that way.
There's like this connection within you and Ophelia. I mean, I really don't get it quite all, because I think like Ophelia's companion, but
right. No, it's
it has something to do with
it's right. It at the basic level of it all, it comes down to just me as a young woman figuring out life, realizing that I just found these similarities where, so say in her case, she's kind of just the pawn in a game. She's controlled by the powerful men in her life. She doesn't really have a choice about anything. She has a lover who fucks with her. She has a father who fucks with her. Then the father gets killed by the whatever. All of these, and then the drowning situation, all of these like key points in her life completely paralleled mine, to the point of feeling like your only point is to be able to please, to be able to do something right, and yet always somehow finding yourself being the victim. And that's why when she went crazy and killed herself and drowned and fell out of a tree, I see that, and many see that, as an act of rebellion. Because this is also something like in Victorian times a lot of women would do, because they're very restricted. They're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to do anything for themselves. Basically, you either land a good husband that can take care of you, or you're fucked. So it's the same situation where if they went crazy, that was the most rebellious thing they could do, because then they couldn't be judged by society's standards, because it no longer applied to them, because they're crazy. You can't expect them to go do the things that they should be doing, because they're nuts. Of course, there's a downside to that, but that's the same thing about when Ophelia went crazy. There's books written on, was she faking it? Did she ever go crazy, or was that her way to back out of this controlling situation? Because like, you can't control me if I'm crazy. I can't do the stupid things you want me to do if I'm crazy. And then just her ultimate way out being the going back into the water from which we all came. So, I forgot what we were talking about. I just keep kind of going until you stop me. So,
This thing is like kind of a liberating proposition. I kind of sense I'm probably a little bit wrong with it, but in the way like all these symbols, the songs, also the dresses that you wear, it's kind of a pretty harsh critic to everyone. That's other, because it's like, okay, we haven't taken like, we're the same that we were like, I don't know, 200 years ago. We got like the same conduct that we were using a lot of time. I don't know if I made myself clear.
I think I thought I understood you, and then I think I lost you.
Oh.
Try to explain to me more.
Yeah, sorry.
Keep telling me.
I mean, in Victorian times, in
Yes.
Shakespearean times,
Right.
the woman had like a really specific role.
Right.
And today in our time, women have the same role. And
That's the thing. It's like we see little bits of progress, and we go, "Yay, things are so much better."
Yeah.
But that little bits of progress, like say there's a little bit of progress in, America.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that any shit is better for for women in the Middle East, for women in Africa, for women in other, America is not the world. We are all in this together. So if somebody is not doing better, we're not doing better. And we need to, when I think about the whole, gender relations, things, basically just being completely out of balance, I'm talking about everywhere. And so yeah, we have in certain parts, there are many countries in the world where nothing has changed at all, because just society hasn't developed in a way that anything would be any different. They just keep doing what they're doing. There aren't developments in people's roles. And so in many, many ways, overall, there's been very little change. And if you try to make that change, you still come up with, even something so stupid as my being a female boss who runs their own show in the music industry. That's not a very big deal, but it's a lot more difficult for me to do that than it would be for a gentleman to do that. I don't give a fuck, because I'm not gonna listen to anybody. I've got Melissa on my side. She's a fine lady that takes care of shit. So it doesn't matter. I'm not bothered by that, because it just simply you just shut it down. It is not my problem. It does not apply. We will do what we want. But we should never even have to think about that. There will come a time when we don't, but it is because we're fighting like girls, which is not to say that boys are not a part of this. It's to say we need to do this together, and just the idea that doing something like a female would do may not actually be a bad thing. There's nothing inherently in us that is wrong, as opposed to what we're all taught to believe, especially in any sort of Christian-based religion, which is that females are inherently evil and are the fault of mankind. We're still dealing with that.
Yeah.
And hence the thing, doing anything as a female would, anything, is an insult to a man. What's so wrong with us?
Yeah, it's
nothing. So basically, if I do something like you do it, awesome. If you do something like I do it, awesome. And if I can fight really well, poke some guy's eye out if they're fucking with you, yeah, I would recommend that to a friend.
Oh, thanks. That's she poked my eye. Awesome.
No, I wouldn't poke your eyes. I would poke somebody's eyes out if they were fucking with you.
Oh.
See, yeah, no, your eyes are so safe. You're so safe. I'm taking care of you. Yeah.
Okay. So, last question.
I will never poke your eyes out.
Oh,
just want you to know that. Yes.
I'll let you choose the last question.
Oh, okay. It's some incredible questions. This is difficult. Okay, let's talk about tea.
Okay.
Because we can't. If we're not drinking it, we need to talk about it.
Okay.
So, yeah, would you like to lay out that question?
Tea. Okay. Tea in the Western culture represents an approach to intimacy. But isn't it also an element that rules social behavior?
Absolutely it is. Tea has always been, well, in some ways it's been an indicator of your social class. And the thing is that, we're talking about in Western culture, but Western culture is relatively late in becoming tea obsessed. It was going on for thousands of years. And it all started in China, and then goes to Japan, and then goes to India, and then the British decide to go over and take all of that and bring it so that they can have their trade, and then it goes to the Americas, and then it goes, but it all started there. So my fascination with it is all about the respect for the simple beverage because of what it means, because it makes you look at things, it makes you take a moment. It is about culture, and that it's like you pour tea for someone else. It's not about drinking alone. It's about interacting, and it's about the ceremony and taking time and making something really special. Then the British have their own tradition of the high tea thing, which I love, but it's all the same thing. And it is also like it's not let's have a bunch of beers in a bar. Tea is intimate, and also because like here's a teapot, I have a teacup, you have a teacup. We are intimate because I need to pour tea for you, you need to pour tea for me, and not poke your eyes out. So I feel it is so much more. It's like I love the actual leaf and the drink because like it's gonna keep me looking good until I'm 84 because like yeah, that's what it does. It is magical. It is the healthiest thing you can do for your body is to drink this stuff constantly. But it is more about the spirituality of it, the connection that it makes, and then the way that we use it, say on stage, and as a sarcasm, as a sarcastic approach, is the Mad Tea Party, which is again another thing of let's take everything that is perfect and proper and just smash it against a wall, because sometimes you have to do that. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you. You can keep the questions.
I would love to.
Like,
I would love
something
to.
with it.
I will frame them.
Thank you.
I love you.
We'll start cleaning this up.
Oh, no, you're wonderful.
So,
Okay, thank you so much. That was a great pleasure.
thank you.
No death could conquer you, only sleep. Good night.